HeroMarine Solar, I think both of us really considered the 3-0 aspect of the playoffs now. Because if my guys didn't, I would have reminded them. Like, I did remind them first. I was like, remember, if like it's 3-0, like no one else plays. And then if they didn't throw out, you know, maybe HeroMarine in the first day, I'd be like, you guys positive? Like, huh? But obviously Solar coming out too is a bit scary, but I believe in HeroMarine. Their last match at Katowice was epic, so I hope that repeats itself.
Yeah, it's actually kind of what we wanted with Solo. Obviously, that's why we put on Curious Minds, right? We've been kind of doing this a lot, where we're just trying to give Solo like a tough matchup, but what we believe is doable, even like odds stacked against him, and it's definitely helped us out against Wardi when he took down Reno, for example. So yeah, that's gonna be our first game. We're gonna dive on into it and have a look to see what's gonna happen now. ZG, I'm sorry, but because you're the lowest seed this time, you have to play in the non-green color. So yeah, you're light pink for the series.
That's fair. It kind of matches my logo. It's kind of like a brain. That's fine. But let's do the introduction then. Top left, now light pink. It's HeroMarine.
Your intros after Roddy's intros are like so insane. Roddy's intros are like, sorry guys, BRB, I've got to write a 300-word essay tonight. And off he goes talking about Max Baskin, the Prince of Denmark, and all the rest of it. In the bottom right, we do have Solar for the stasis. Wardi's going to drop a hatch first, and nothing proxied out on the map to begin with.
Yeah, all Gucci. I didn't really expect Solar to do any type of cheese, right? You usually don't even really paint a lot of Zerg players the type to do cheese anymore. Besides that brief, I don't know, month where it felt like everyone was pool first thing a year ago, maybe even longer at this point. So that's usually not a worry. And then kind of ditto for HeroMarine, right? It's not that a Terran can't cheese, won't cheese, absolutely not. 2-rack's still extremely popular. It's just, it's HeroMarine. So if anything, you're going to guess 3cc. I mean, not actually like 100% though, for sure. Like 3cc is still, I think, a bit of an outlier. I actually have Clem when I think of 3cc. I don't know about you. But HeroMarine might just stick with the true and tried Banshee off of 2 bases.
Yeah, Solar's dangerous, right? You know, he can play roaches, and he can play roaches very well. So play a Banshee, get some harassment done, especially on a map like this. You know, the longer this game goes, I think a lot of the Terran players like it. There's limited bases for the Zerg. There's good pushing directions to get into. There's a reason this is a map that Terrans like, and it's being short is nice as well. But as long as they don't die in the first 5 to 7 minutes, that's when the Terrans really start to take advantage of this map. So yeah, I imagine HeroMarine should just open fairly safe here, something pretty standard. We'll see soon if he's going to take that second gas or not, and exactly the sort of way around it he wants to do.
Right, that's the timing that we're waiting on, is the second gas, which has not come down, and I'm pretty sure it would have. So he's going to go for a 3cc, so I should have just stuck with my guns. Yeah, 3cc, absolutely. Sounds super smart. But again, just kind of lining up with the idea that this is going to be a macro game, macro play between the two. I know that their Katowice best of 5 was super epic and super long, and it kept some of us who were trying to nap at a 14-hour day awake watching. But I don't actually remember how it started most of those games. I just remember the ending. So do you remember what the starts were?
I remember like 20 tanks on Berlingrad and all the ridiculousness that happened, and the game on Hardwire with the last Banelings trying to blow up the last Marines. I have no idea what happened in the start of those games, because there was just 2 hours of StarCraft there, and yeah, I mean, 1 hour of it was extremely ridiculous, and the rest was, I imagine, just a mixture of standard openings. Otherwise, maybe they would have stuck out more. Is all I can guess.
Right. I want to say there might have been one Hellbat push, actually, as much as that I don't believe is in HeroMarine's wheelhouse usually. So that's all I got, though. That's really all I got. So I have no additional information as to what they might trend to. And besides, it's, you know, that was a month and a half ago at this point. And while that's not worth any changes in StarCraft towards this matchup anyways, maybe a little bit, you know, the Lurker, we'll see about that. Yeah, I don't know if they've changed anything up or if they played each other. I haven't actually looked at their Ligilac, but
yeah. No,
I'm gonna do it now.
That's one of those series that was really surprising for me, because even though HeroMarine had some good TVZ, Solar offline, to me, he was just meant to win that matchup. And HeroMarine, he played really well, and obviously they played ridiculous games as well, which made it even more impressive. I don't know if I feel like if they've played since then, I'd be kind of surprised. What's the Ligilac say on Just?
They have not. So I remember I looked at it, but I didn't realize if that was the Katowice match or not. So HeroMarine's won the last 2 series, but yeah, the last one they played was Katowice. So the one before that was a 3-0, I think, in HeroMarine's favor, or 2-0. And that was, you know, obviously before too. So it's definitely, it's certainly not set in stone. Like, I don't look at that and I'm like, yes, HeroMarine's gonna win. Yep. But it does give me a little bit more confidence. But I agree with you, where I think most of us went into that quarterfinals, was it? Thinking that HeroMarine was going to lose, but you know, he popped off at Katowice, and he seems to still be feeling the groove for the most part. So, and certainly he gets to play his game here, which you know, Solar also does. I think to me, it just comes down to HeroMarine basically solid. Solar should be solid, and we went through this when he was facing Skilless as well. He should be solid, but it feels like he just gets a little unlucky and makes that one kind of questionable decision at the exact wrong time, and that's why he loses.
I'm 100% with you. Solar, by the way, just playing double Evo into last, not even playing left first. Obviously, just feels very safe to be able to do this. Sneaks a little Link Scout into the base as well, as HeroMarine just takes his third, and yeah, we're just chattering about results, because really nothing happened this game until now these first 2 medevacs move out and HeroMarine gets a chance to maybe try and deal some damage.
Right. I mean, Solar, whether he knew about the exact opener or not, like how quickly he knows about the exact opener, that's you know, we admittedly missed that. I think he got the impression pretty quickly, though, that it was a 3cc, that it was not going into a starport, with just kind of the amount of Hellions, right? That already tells you kind of their intention of being really greedy. If they make Hellions, then don't make anything more. And it really was only 2. So far, a perfect game from HeroMarine, just throwing it out there. Usually you lose something more.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't open with like a Reaper. Well, he did open with a Reaper, but it's been very passive. The Hellions have been very passive, you know. Yeah, you killed a couple Scoutlings. This Overlord was the first real kill of the game. I'm okay with it, CG, you know. I feel like Solar's fine for now. Spreading some creep out. I mean, I love the speed of his upgrades. 1-1, if he continues down to 2-2, that could be kind of scary down the line. Obviously, doesn't have Bane speed yet, but it doesn't look like HeroMarine's going to put on enough pressure to really say, hey, look, you don't have Bane speed. Maybe I can do something here. So, yeah, Solar just getting to creep up, take bases. Drone. It's a good life.
Pretty good life for both of them. HeroMarine doesn't do any unnecessary diving that could have gotten him into trouble either. I do want him to clear up more creep. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But no show-off moment when you're playing cross-server and you go, oops-a-daisy. Ooh, speaking of oops-a-daisy, bunch of Lings getting in with 4 Hellions. Those Hellions back at home might have been perfect, but with 2 Hellions, a little less so. Tank also gets taken down, and HeroMarine is actually going to lose so many SCVs. Holy shit. Oh, that was such a good run by.
Let's go Solo. He might have to cancel the bottom left. He is going to try and fight this over here, but he will cancel it anyway. The Bane's finally about to have Bane speed, so that will help too. I mean, HeroMarine is going to try and run around everywhere. Solo obviously used a lot of units across the map, and while he did major damage, this is maybe HeroMarine's chance to get damage done. He doesn't do much on the front. Now he's going to drop in the main base. Try and find a little bit more. His army supply is still good. It's that work count he needs to recover from. And as he adds 3 racks, he is not rebuilding SCVs. He's just going to go all out with unit production as Solo begins to tech up.
Damn. That's so brutal. I mean, a run by like that is really not supposed to... The thing is, if it's 10 seconds, 15 seconds later, there is enough choked up in that natural supply depot that it doesn't win the game, right? It's an annoyance. It does some decent damage at the third, but it doesn't win the game. But a run by like that, you basically say, okay, if I can't kill this guy in the next 2 minutes, he has won the game. So it seems like a very simple thing. Seemed almost non-committal from Solar, but it did a tremendous amount of damage. Now HeroMarine, I don't know if his plan was originally going that 8 racks, but... has to now, for sure.
Yeah, he's just going to send it. 49 SCVs. Solo already on another counterattack. Going to take down whatever SCVs remain at that third, or maybe just continue through into the natural, pick up some reinforcements. He does need to deal with this one army. This is going to be the scariest part of it all, so we're going to see. As right now, he's just going to pull back. He's going to give up the base, which is kind of scary. You lose this base, maybe you lose the base behind it. Then it's only 3 bases, so that could be a problem. But Banelings are crashing on both sides of the map into SCVs on one side, into Marines on the other.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah, he has a lot of army supply, though. No.
Yeah, there's no Banelings left over.
No.
Oh my god, is he gonna do this? Is he gonna do this thing where he doesn't have any leftover Banelings and HeroMarine wins with like 10 Marines?
No.
Is this actually gonna happen? Is this how he wins the game? Holy shit! The Banelings are gonna finish up, but is there gonna be enough? The last second spreading, that spread is so good, and more Marines are flooding to the middle of the map. Come on, HeroMarine. Get on top of that production. The accidental Swarm host is on the way. The Hydras can't cut it. The drones are being pulled.
No, 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 no. Solo, you got this, buddy. Just get some Hydras, a couple Banes or something. Overlord stay alive. He's giving up drones to free up supply. It's a strategy. ZombieGrub believe. They're going to keep tanking these Banelings. Oh! They got so many Marines. I mean, you only got 2 tanks and like 5 Marines now. Like, that's a lot of medevacs, but not a lot of units. I think we're okay.
I think that actually might have been enough. The behind Banelings might have done the trick. The 2 tanks sieging up aren't really properly protected. The Swarm Host helps by popping its Locust. Oh my god, this got crazy close, but I think the Marines dying is just too much. And your boy having 2-2 as well. Oh, This was so close.
Those upgrades were obviously nice as well, especially in these like low unit fights. Upgrades go a long way. It's just going to be seen a Hydra's flings. I mean, it's not quite cleaned up yet, but we're definitely getting there. The medevac's also just out of energy. They've been healing everything possible, but the tank goes down, and I think Solar has broken out of that very tricky spot. 4th base bottom left alive. He actually has a hatch top right as well, man. He's got bases everywhere.
Yeah, oh no, Solar's totally fine. The only way that was gonna work was if he literally got on top of the production, right? Like all the Lings coming into 16 Marines. But I think with the lack of Marines especially, like the tanks actually get really almost like not important in those type of last second scenarios because tanks alone can't protect themselves even from 6 Lings. They just they get in the dead zone. So it was really about all those Marines. And the 2 Banelings coming from behind. I don't know if Solar planned it or maybe even got a bit lucky, but that was what sealed the deal.
Yep, as we're just going to be seeing the units of HeroMarine. I mean, probably going to get jumped on here as Solar was kind of spreading out as though he wanted to. Maybe was just going to go if HeroMarine moved into him. Now he takes the chance to just get rid of some rocks, open up the map. Little Link counterattack once again. This probably won't do much. There are units nearby, but obviously HeroMarine sat on 28 SCVs and is just not going up in economy at all. So this next push is going to be very all-in, but again, 1-1 against 2-2. The writing is kind of on the wall, and Solar, very important map, this one, I think. This is obviously big, both second-round picks. Arguably, both could have been first-round picks. And it really could have gone either way, so a big one for both of us. But, Solar's going to eke it out.
That's for sure. That's way too many Banelings. And now, of course, you do absolutely need tanks against this many Banelings. The spread is going to be attempted, but there's enough left over. Such a good attempt, such a good YOLO, all in. But GG.
GG. Solo's going to put the first on the board for the Stasis Wardis. He's going to get the job done. But, I mean, he had me sweating, ZombieGrub. I mean, what was that? Just, casually out here, just sort of nearly dying, have no units left at all. Oh, no, that was not how I wanted it to go. I wanted it to be a lot more comfortable than that, But yeah, not can't always be like that, as that one does get wrapped up. Just to answer quickly some questions, chat, that's the only replay of the series and of hopefully today. It's just a little bit of info on that. Obviously, Solar is at another event as well, so just multitasking and stuff. But that should be the only one that we have.
Yeah. Yep. That's some last-second panic for Wardi.
Oh,
so you realized you had to schedule it?
I didn't really sleep. Basically, from like this time yesterday until about 2 hours ago, I was just like a ball of stress. Just pure ball of stress. I was messaging everyone. I came up with like 3 different backup plans. I was like, well, if we have to disqualify them, then we can maybe make it so that the other team can pick a player to replace them in the lineup or something. And it's like, give us games instead of just walkovers. I don't know, just anything, please.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun.
Nope. Can't imagine. I can imagine. But now it's all done. Now we're Gucci. Now your team's up 1-0, so you can feel good about it as well.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the first thing that's not stressed me out in like the last 24 hours. So I will take the 1-0 lead and be content with it for the moment. As our next map is going to be kind of a fun one too, right? Showtime versus Creator. Obviously, I think by name, definitely Showtime a favorite, but Creator is no slouch. He is very good, definitely capable of winning a map. Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. It's going to be tough. Showtime is obviously very, very good, and we know that too.
Yeah, but it's not like Creator's a slouch. Creator doesn't really get... A lot of people at this point have gotten on the Creator hype train, or at the very least, hey guys, Creator isn't bad train. So I don't think anyone's saying that he's going to return to his 2012 form or whatever it was, almost winning a tournament, but he definitely elevated himself in people's eyes after Oh, the last couple of months, really. So I'm absolutely scared. But again, we had a situation where Showtime, being a real bro, says that West isn't that bad for him. And so we didn't... This is on West, isn't it? We didn't give him the...
This is on West,
pick.
yeah.
Yeah.
We had the same discussion. I was like, I even told them, I was like, Showtime doesn't really care if it's West. And then Beyond was like, yeah, but I don't care about my server. And they had a whole, I don't care, no, I don't care. And then at some point, the Google Translate said, Showtime is very good. You should take the advantage. And Korea says, okay. I'm like, okay, if you needed reminding, then, I mean, apparently, so yeah. It was,
Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those servers where I think they don't really mind both Protoss players. They're kind of like, it's whatever.
Right. Seems that way. Seems that way. We've had some of those discussions as well where it's been very, no, you take it. No, you take it. Anyways, let's do introductions, I guess. Bottom right, now pink. It's showtime.
And the bottom left, it is Creator in the nice little Stasis Wardi green. We couldn't play this last time. Do you have to play it? I can't remember what I was. I was like, red maybe last time or something. We had to play ZG. It wasn't pretty. It didn't fit the Stasis Wardies. No wonder we ended up losing.
I'm not sure what you guys chose.
I think it was blue, actually.
Yeah, I don't think it was red. For some reason, red would feels like it would have stuck out.
Yeah, well, I think I didn't do red because obviously red greens are very not good for colorblind.
Right.
So I think it was blue or maybe teal because teal it also just isn't used by a team. So teal and light pink are like we have to change colors. I think is somewhat the logic, but yeah, who really knows?
Yeah, that wasn't really what I was paying attention to.
No,
So.
no,
Yeah.
I was just in a pit of misery. I actually deleted that day from my memory. I went back, had to cut up some VODs for it. I was like, no, these were not good games. We'll just pass over this day.
Well, hopefully we get a good game again. I mean, that last game was super short, and I do kind of wish that it was longer. Just, you know, the solar run by kills 10 SCVs instead of 22 or whatever it was, and it is a bit of a longer game for sure. But, you know, it was a good timing. It was a very good timing. Like, basically 5 seconds after HeroMarine picked up his next 2 medevacs and 10-15 seconds before he had enough reinforcements. So, you know, all credit to Solar there, timing that out well. But now we got a PvP, and we do have a PvP on Blackburn, which means we could do the whole explanation of if, ands, what's, the whole tree charts of what happens if they block each other's nexuses. I don't really want to, so we're just gonna see what pops out of these Stargates, as that is most of the mental game.
This kind of has to be Phoenix versus Phoenix, right? They both know about it. They've both got a scout.
Well,
okay, Creator, you
yeah.
crazy.
Here's the thing,
Creator.
right? Is that was kind of an old school logic that seems to be coming back into play every now and again. You know, I feel like I don't talk to the Protoss pros on a daily basis, but I feel like what happens is people were like, obviously, if it's Stargate, you're going to go Phoenix because the Oracle is going to be worthless. And then at some point, Protoss players were even admitting, actually, the Oracle is surprisingly good because you never know which direction it's going to come from. You can't camp it. Well, this is not good. Definitely bad.
I was going to say,
definitely
like,
bad for you.
The one reason I said it specifically, because I get it, right? Like, you mix it up, you switch it out, it's not expected. The one reason I said it is because they both still had a scout in the base. And I was like, well, that really means you can't go for the Oracle. Apparently,
Gotcha.
Well, apparently you can, but no, you really can't, because this Oracle is... I think this Oracle's actually trying to wait for the battery in the main to finish so it doesn't die. It's really done a good job of just about surviving, but... this is not good, because now Showtime's just going to get full Phoenix control.
Yep. The fact that a Phoenix will get on top of the Oracle is obviously where it goes all wrong. If it's, again, talking about 5 seconds, right? 5 seconds difference, the Oracle goes north, the Phoenix went south. Suddenly your guy has a chance to kill probes. But, nope. Nah, still gonna have to bring it in later. There's a chance that Showtime doesn't build a shield battery, though, right? And then still a live Oracle comes in at minute 7 and kills 6 probes, which is less impactful than minute 4, but... it's still something.
The Phoenix is really hunting everywhere to just try and find it, just thinking maybe it escaped to the left, and wow, Creator's just going to drop the gold base. I don't even hate that as a third. It's possible to do in this matchup if you get map control and stuff, but to drop it so quickly, that's a very brazen idea, and Showtime's just going to scout it immediately too, so he knows exactly what Creator is doing right from the very get-go.
This is interesting. Showtime, he's going to go for his own gold. So... you know, this happens in other matchups, I think, as well. Not too commonly, of course, but the idea that the gold is almost a trap sometimes, where you say, yeah, you're obviously going to try and hit me. You're going to try and stop me from having it. So I'm going to do my best to predict that and defend it. And then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, right? But then there's the other option, which is like, oh, you did the thing, I'm going to do the thing too, which in a way is a safer option. As greedy as this looks, as punishable as it looks, the safer option is doing what Showtime did.
Yeah, I do like that Dark Shrine on the top of the map, you know, the way that Showtime's been setting up so far. It was possible he didn't get a robo in time, but there it is going down. I still like the idea of the Dark Shrine. It's hidden in a cool little place. It can maybe still get some damage done. Just because you have an observer doesn't mean everything's in the right position. So some possibility there as Creator starts to break his way out and starts to get over to his gold base. We'll recall a few probes over there, and it's probably just hoping these Phoenix don't fly through the top of the map for at least the next few moments, which they will not do because they could pick off some probes on the gold, but they will not. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, Showtime. He's dealing with a stasis trap, I guess. So that's... Your Oracle is doing damage. I mean, not the 2 probes being stasis. That's not that important. But the fact that Phoenix came home means that they didn't do damage to your guy. So they negated damage, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, they're not quite going to get this stasis ward up, but that's okay. The Phoenix come back. They have to deal with it. Creator's building up a gateway. We are getting a first DT warp in as well. Well, actually, was that? He warped that in all the way back at home. It's going to start moving forward. Showtime has the single observer on the way up. Again, a lot of this just depends where that observer is, and Creator's going to try and distract with a harassment up here. He has given himself map control by making these moves so far, so I like that as... obviously the Phoenix here will actually mix this up a little bit, and we are going to start killing off the Phoenix as they lift up some Stalkers. Stalkers from the other side as well. I mean, the good news is that this DT at least should get in and get some kills.
The Observer has stayed at home, so fortunately it's going to be very quick to the response. And Creator is forced to maybe even recall if he's not careful.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to get the Phoenix. So Showtime sees the DT. It's going to get maybe 5 probe kills.
Yeah.
But that's not bad, really, because they're both on such similar situations. Creator's just a bit low in that army supply, but now he has time to rebuild it.
Yeah, he goes Stalkers out without having to recall, actually, which is quite neat. As he actually dodges away from the Observers. Just being annoying, right? Buying himself time. A lot of what his play has been about has been very much so just trying to pull you over here and then actually go over there, and in that regard he's done pretty okay. Obviously, you look at the supplies coming out of this. Workers are pretty even, everyone's got a gold. Creator's a bit down on army, but he is faster on the charge, a little faster on the forge. I mean, charge especially, right, is something that can make a difference as Showtime starts to move across the map now.
Yes, that's a big difference. So the initial charge lot warp in isn't that bad. You can usually deal with it, but it's when it suddenly becomes, 4 to 8 zealots. The 8 zealots are a dramatic difference. The stalkers just can't kill them all that fast. We got ourselves an old-fashioned stalker shootout, though. Who's going to win with the stalker micro? And so far, I think the concave just went a little better for Creator initially.
Yeah, I actually wasn't super loving it, but it did go a little bit better for him towards the end. He does get a few extra pickoffs as he picked off one recalling stalker. He got a couple that didn't quite make it into the recall as well, so that obviously goes very well. Now Creator's going to apparently try and just blink across his gold and just sit out over here. Obviously, controlling this space is so important because you want to protect your gold mining. If you can't mine from your gold, that's your third base not mining. So it's very important to be the player that's out on the map. And right now, Creator is having a swell of army supply.
Right. I mean, if you check the income graph, the fact that his probes have been continuously mining at all points, no Oracle harassment, no gold base harassment, DT is obviously also causing lost mining time, it's added up. Like, that huge spike from Creator didn't last a long time, but it's a huge spike. So that was his entire production tab. At one point, he had like 8 things going, and Showtime had 3 things going. I mean, that's why it happened. And it's just going to snowball into more supply. And Showtime kind of needs to consider maybe going for a Hail Mary Disruptor transition, because defending with his own Charge Lot, Stalker, Archon is going to be very difficult if he's down 20, 30 army supply. In fact, 30 army supply, I'd say it's almost impossible.
Yeah, he needs to be really careful as Creator's about to have that +1 as well. Will help a little bit in these fights, especially if numbers look similar. So, yeah, with Archon's coming up and Immortal as well, it's looking very good for Creator right now, but we'll see what happens. I honestly, CG, I'm terrified to put the trust in my boys sometimes still. I look back to when I really believed in them in the past and I got broken. I don't know. I smack talked for the first 2 days of this league and it went very badly wrong, so I'm just trying to keep my cool at the moment.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Creator could still run face first into 6 Archons and a shield battery. with all those charge lots. So, you know, we've seen throws in such fashion, but the trick is, can Showtime get enough Archons? Can he actually defend around a shield battery? Definitely yes to the latter. I would assume he's always aware of fighting near shield battery. Little less so on the former, which is having enough Archons. He's barely getting to Archons himself as Creator prepares to move across the map. Creator, if he waits for +2, that'll give my guy plenty of time. If he doesn't, it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, Creator's just gonna, if nothing else though, just taking this position again, denying that gold mine is so powerful, and that's just the big benefit you get on Blackburn. On any other map, having a bit of map control is always good, but it just doesn't give you as much as it gives you on this map because of that gold base and the way it points, and probably a very well designed, really a very well designed gold base, right? It really points out, it's exposed, it's not just a free gold for no reason. And we're kind of seeing that as Creator continues to abuse this position and just moving in, moving out. Obviously, he's not really a concave there, so the extra stalkers of Showtime don't do much. And yeah, just sitting here picking off probes, a stalker or two, and looks like Showtime going to slip a couple of zealots across the map. And has still got that force just down to the south, maybe looking to try and do something, maybe flank in at some point, but I mean, it'd be freaking scary into all those Archons.
Right, no, there's no flank really possible, and hopefully Showtime realizes that. He can posture for the best defensive engagement. Sure, that makes sense, but he can't attack. So he's going to wait until he has disruptors, which I'm very thankful that he did at the time he did, that he, defended as opposed to get overly eager. And that is going to bring us to a point of, I guess, stalemate. No, Showtime, don't do it.
I was going to say, like, even I think that's crazy. Well, I mean, I like the fact that it's crazy, but that was not the time to go for a fight at all. Like, his disruptors aren't ready yet. Oh, they're done, but they're not in the army yet, so it wasn't the time to go down the ramp. And even Creator was like, oh my god, like, you're doing it. So he popped a Guardian Shield. So in that regard, a Guardian Shield gets used up, and that is nice. And it's obviously both maxed out. We'll see how this fight goes. I mean, this is a massive concave, and we're still going to attack into it. Okay, Showtime kind of knows what he's doing. He is going to hold off.
And close my eyes. I think he might have been really considering the save on the Nexus. I think is what really made him do what he did. And he's like, can I? No, I really can't. And he was playing on this map in another PvP, and he showed at one point the very Showtime maturity that I come to expect, and then 2 other points he didn't. He was a little too eager. He was a little too aggressive, and this is not a good start to a base trade. Losing the 2 disruptors that could have been hiding in a natural would have been so much better for me. And there's no observer with the army by the looks of things, so defensive DTs. Wait, no, there is an observer. They're still getting damage done. All right then. Yeah,
I immediately checked where the disruptors were because I was like, that's going to be bad because you already had more disruptors on the way up, right? So that's not good to attack into on the base trade. Showtime's losing a lot very quickly, and his army supply just isn't really there, even to the point where I'd say a disruptor difference maybe doesn't make much of a difference. Disrupt on the lower ground. We'll get a few zealots. That's kind of manageable. That's fine. As Creator just continues to work his way through, and in theory, this base trade really looks very good for Creator. Just wondering if there's anything that can go like super badly wrong. He does have disruptors, which he's trying to fire on the other side on the picture-in-picture.
Oh my god. Oh, it was too scary. It looks like we're both going to lose +3 attack. Yeah. I am wondering again where the observer is. It's okay. It's still there, but god, that supply for Showtime is so bad. Oh man.
Yeah, he's down a lot of army supply, but of course he does, like I say, he's got the 2 disruptors, which is the only thing I'm really afraid of, I suppose. Is Showtime got buildings? Oh my god, Showtime doesn't have buildings!
Huh.
That would do it. I didn't even look at the probe count. You know when you just assume?
Yeah, I didn't either. Oh, Jesus. GG.
Oh man.
He didn't even, I don't think he was thinking about it, right?
Yeah, no. Or maybe he knew because he just has no probes left. He just can't do anything. But yeah, I just assumed because they quite clearly set up into a base trade, he'd just have probes on the map. I just wasn't looking at that at all. Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, shit.
So
looking bad.
So Ratata, huh? You believe in the Ratata? Bring it back.
Actually, I think that Ratata has a decent chance. He did take a map off of Beyond very recently, but he was not too confident in himself. So we'll see.
All right, well, that's going to be next up for us. Beyond Ratata, as the Stasis Wardi's a 2-0 lead, looking to get a semi-final appearance, a chance for revenge against Nate, who really spanked us a little bit during the earlier match that we played in the group stages. So Be nice to get some revenge on that. So, yeah, we'll see, though.
Trying to communicate to Rattata.
Yeah, I'm trying to talk to people as well.
We'll get him in here eventually. Yep. Next semifinal is going to be interesting. I don't know who I'm going to choose to cheer against. It was very easy to cheer against a Muslim. So there was that. And then, now that we're here, I guess I'm going to cheer against Cats.
Cheer against Cats,
whoever's winning.
Team Cyril.
Yeah, whoever's winning.
Cats is like the villain because he was like 6-1 in the groups, where everyone else was 4-3 or 3-4. Right? Like everyone else just traded matches, and Cats was like, "No, I'm just gonna win everything." So. And
he also didn't deserve it. Let's be real.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, he should have. He should have been 1-3. Like he should have been a 1-3 team. Absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly. And he was so confident about his goat, and his goat is just a little baba sheep. It's not even that intimidating. No one cares. It's like, oh, it's Cyril, whatever.
Goat went 4-3. Yeah, don't see anyone calling out that first round pick, do we, ZG?
Yeah, right? Exactly. What is with that? Jesus. Oh, so unfair. You know who did get good, though? Freaking Bunny.
You know what, as well? I knew Bunny had a bad hand, so I was like, Bunny's not on my list, you know? Like, he's got a broken hand. That doesn't sound good, right? You know, he'll be out of practice. He got smacked in GSL. I was like, no, I'm not picking Bunny. Oh, yeah, Bunny, 7-0. Great pick. Yeah. All right, players are ready, so we're going to start this up and get this underway as Björn tries to close it out for the Stasis Wardies and look for a 3-0, which would actually go from today being completely behind schedule to today actually ahead of schedule. So
nice.
You don't need to love best of fives. Just, one takes 2 hours, the next takes 25 minutes. Ay.
I mean, if some of those players would just give up and die already, Nice.
If the underdogs just wouldn't, would admit defeat before the game was played, it would help so much.
It really would. All right, let's see how this goes. Rattata, he's been on the upswing when it comes to the Caster Civil War, so let's see if he continues winning. He was hoping for a Protoss, though, but I believe. Top right, it is Rattata.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we didn't really want to throw Björn at Rattata. That was very much so something which, that's not great, because obviously Björn's been playing very well for us, but then in a way, Björn, I kind of like him most in TVZ. I feel like he's most reliable in TVZ, as he is obviously bottom left. So his TVP sometimes can get a bad start, right? He just throws units and keeps throwing units. So, we saw how him versus Showtime went in the group stages. I know he ended up winning that game, but it was not a good first 8 minutes of the game for Björn, and he turned it around on the back of one drop. So, yeah, not too upset, and obviously being up 2-0 and now a chance to close out, then it obviously makes it kind of a nice map for us to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Rattata was like, oh, this isn't what I wanted when I wanted the Protoss. I think he maybe heard me say sacrificial lamb, so I think he used that phrase. And he just hoped that one of the first 2 players would win. But I don't know. I think he is being a bit too harsh on himself. He did lose a best of 3 versus Björn, and one of the games, apparently Björn went mech. I just assume you cast it Wardi, so I'm just saying it for the viewers. And Rattata was like, I had no idea about that. I had no idea he was capable of playing mech. But it's another thing to worry about. In a way, though, I'm glad that it was shown, so at least Rattata maybe is a little more on point about scouting for either tech path. Maybe otherwise he does just 100% assume. And I think what he said was that his plan is to probably just 1-1 roach all in, back to the classic Rattata. So let's see if he sticks to that plan.
Not a terrible map for it, right? It's not like the super obvious map for it, and it can still be good. The Terran has some defense with tanks in the main maybe, but that's quite far back compared to Curious Minds, a very open third base, but you can put tanks in the main and defend from the main base as well, for example, open your natural and stuff. So, yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a terrible idea. And sometimes those, I actually do think as well, Björn plays a bit risky. He plays a bit, I'm going to trade here, I'm going to trade there. Sometimes, you run a bunch of roaches up the middle at him. It just does very well.
Yeah. Yes, he very much falls into, I guess, what HeroMarine showed us can be a trap for the Terran player, which is pick up everything, you don't really have much at home. And Björn definitely is the one to do that. So he is starting off with a 2-1-1, so he is very much playing Björn-esque 2-1-1 and or some type of, 1-1-1, but it's a drop, not Hellions type situation. That's Björn to me. So Rattata is going to be able to figure this out, that it's not going to be a Hellion build pretty quickly. But then because it is beyond, you don't still know exactly what it is. Okay, I was wrong. I mean, it isn't going to be Hellions. So this is a trick 2-on-1 then that might even turn into a push with the Hellions. You can even add an armor and go for Hellbats. So this is all about tricking the early game Zerg, and Bjorn does really good at that.
Rattata gonna respect the Marines actually walking across the map, because I understand there's 2k atmospheres, but these Marines have gone across the map. There's only 4. I guess he managed to get his Overlord out of the way, and now the Marine's gonna pull back as well. Probably expecting a unit or 2 to have been made. Yeah, link speed coming up, extra links, I guess it probably would have been enough anyway as we go into Stim. Like you say, some Hellions, it's been a tricky build from Bjorn, just trying to make his opponent think it's one thing when then it's the other, and if you're not expecting the Hellions, you don't have enough units in position, they can sneak by and do damage, or just be a good buffer, maybe defend a counter. Bjorn needs to remember to build a starport, because he just tried to build it and blocked it, and now his starport is delayed by 30 gas. Oh no, he's waiting for the reactor. Oh, I see. That works too, I guess.
Yeah, so this is, I mean, I think this is the exact build that kind of bamboozled Scarlet when they played in Katowice, where she made a bunch of Lings trying to capitalize on the Marine opener, and then it ended up being a swap to Hellions, so it didn't really work out. So I'm glad that Rattata didn't try and punish, because you really just don't know exactly what Bjorn's going to do, unless you literally get a Ling in there, or you actually get Overlord speed, which, yeah, Zerg players are mostly not about these days. So you see the Hellions, and then going through your head, you're wondering, could it be a third CC? Could it be a Hellbat push? The amount of supply depots at the time that Rattata scouted them kind of can still go either way. And then at the end of the day, it's not even really that. There's 2 barracks pumping Marines.
Yep, I'm just going to be seeing these Marines going to sit behind the wall, so these Lings won't do much. And the Hellions know where the Lings are roughly. Could maybe go for a catch. Rattata's dodging and darting to try and save that. And Bjorn's going to find these Lings. He's only going to find a couple at the moment, maybe one more. Again, just shaving off units where he can for the moment as Rattata powers up into Lair Tech. And Lair Tech and taking an extra gas. Where do we go off the Les, EG? What's the plan, do we think?
Well, no evolution chambers, so I assume Mutas. Alright, so he has to defend against this first push, and with Baneling access, he should be able to. It's just a question of how fast does he make Banelings. And then we'll see about the Mutas. He did surprisingly well against another Terran that I can't remember right now, where he lost so much early on. Whoever did the Blue Flame Hellion build, whoever was doing that one-trick pony, he did a surprising amount of recovery with the Mutas. So I know he's good with them, but it is definitely an outliers way that most Zergs are playing, and then this is still most important. The Banelings were necessary, 6 of them being made right now. Can he buy enough time? I think so. Queen's so far doing their job.
Yeah, he's losing a lot of Ovies, and there's a few drones left behind as well. Depends what Bjorn's controls like on the Banes.
No Banelings, there's no Lings.
Oh no,
he's gonna snipe them all.
Bjorn!
Oh shit!
Bjorn, stim though, one more time.
Connects.
Yeah, that connection was necessary. Oh, and Medevac goes down too. That connection was necessary, because if that main didn't connect, there's actually just no units left there, and Bjorn just keeps on fighting. And even now, just jumping into the main base, he's going to get an OV. Rattata supply block, by the way. That's going to hurt a lot as these drones have to run away. All of this is lost mining, and of course, Bjorn just back at home building up units. Needs to get away from the Bane, does get a bit of target fire down. He'll go back down to the low ground. There's another Overlord there as well if he wants it, although it wouldn't supply block. It would just, of course, be one more OV you have to build. And that's just an expense Rattata can't easily afford at the moment, because this obviously hasn't been super pretty.
No, that was not the perfectly lined up defense that you were hoping for. You know, imagine a world where 6 Banelings are prepared already, and then it's, you know, with the Lings, with the Queens, the Bane, like 2 Banelings get sniped because Bjorn's a try hard, and then nothing happens. But it was so, it was such the non-good way to open, and Rattata is still reeling from that too, right? So he's getting a macro hatchery at the front and a 4th base, which I think is good. Because he's going to need it going for pure Ling Baneling. I was wrong about the Mutas. Either he changed his mind, or it was his plan all along just to get the faster centrifugal hooks. But I think he is still not in a comfortable position. If he gets this medevac, that would help. Doesn't even get that.
Just slips away into the corner. Medevac gonna stay alive. And okay, not a lot in it. Very low HP Marines. Probably won't do much, but just having that extra something to potentially be a bit of a threat. As we move up the left side with another army, and Bjorn just going to drop another command center back at home. Happy to just keep on expanding. Rattata already very late 4th base, right? So he needs to turn this around with this next fight, really. He needs some very good Baneling connections, but it's going to be tough because Bjorn can take this slowly. He doesn't have to rush into a fight. This is going to be maybe Rattata's best chance, catching Bjorn off guard. He's not sieging. The Banes do get a connection I didn't even think was going to happen, to be honest. And oh, that tank just survives.
Yeah, I mean, that's... I guess I'll take that, but, you know, Rattata has to be very careful about moves such as that. If you run out of Banelings, we saw how deadly that can be for Zergs via Solar's game. So you just need to make sure that whenever you run forward like that, you do have backup, and then you can survive. It might not, it's still not a good trade, perhaps. It's still not a great situation for the Zerg, but at least you're surviving, because the worst case scenario is diving like that, not winning, and then actually just straight up losing your 4th base. The Rattata, he's all about holding right now. He's all about just surviving. He has managed to get kind of far ahead on the 2-2, because I think Beyond just maybe forgot about his 1-1. He has the Armory, or sorry, it's 2-2. He has the Armory, hasn't started it. So there's that, and we got Hydras and a dive towards Lurkers is my thinking with an infestation pit as well.
Yeah, well, Beyond's got these tanks very far back, by the way, like really deep off creep, which means they're going to get a lot of shots off before anything reaches them, but units will eventually reach them here. There's just not enough Marines. I mean, it's still expensive. The extra Marines showing up, but now no splash damage. I mean, I know Beyond's up a lot of supply, but yeah, I mean, the good news is that Rattata has no splash damage to deal with for a little while, so maybe there's some hope there. I mean, Beyond's actually got 2 tanks at home. He's really been looking to defend a counterattack that's just never come because Rattata has been so much on the back foot, he's not been able to break out his base.
Maybe it's one of those situations where he thinks, so that's not a lot. There must be links somewhere out on the map. Or he's just playing super safe because he knows he's got this in the bag. Either way, it does kind of make sense. Yeah, Rattata, you know, he's gotten away with some of these dives off of creep, and that last one was kind of a necessity, not in the fact that he was immediately being bombarded by tanks, but the fact is that if he didn't cut it at some point, more reinforcements would have showed up and it would have snowballed. So I understand why he did it, but it's obviously still like it's trading at a deficit. He's not really in a prime position. He's just trying to survive, and Beyond can take advantage of that by playing super safe. That's totally fine. The only worry that Beyond mishandles the Lurker late game, because Rattata apparently is going to get there, and we'll see if Beyond is able to continue with his advantages, drop everywhere, find him out of position, or if he's maybe late to Ghost Academy and then can't deal with the Lurkers.
These Banelings are going to die, so then the Lings will go down the left side. He's close to being there, ZG, but I mean, he still has to actually get some upgrades going, get some Hydras on the map. Beyond is going to see this little counter, well, I say little, it's quite a big counter attack on this right-hand side. We'll pull some units back to help out, even a couple Widow Mines. No. There is a Widow Mine already burrowed that does pretty okay. I don't think that's enough Banes to blow up this command center,
no,
so
it's not.
Yeah, it's going to stay alive, and that just means that this attack wasn't that worthwhile. 13 SCVs just doesn't quite cut it.
No, that was a huge investment, and obviously, I mean, I think the idea was that he blows up the planetary while giving up his 4th, and he says, well, maybe I'll still, like, I'll pull him back, and then I'll have time to get the Hydras and Lurkers. And if he had killed the planetary, that would have been, again, an idea. It still doesn't put him ahead, though. It still didn't put him ahead. So all these things are very risky decisions, just trying to get something done. Nothing has worked out. He's drowning. He's definitely drowning. The Lurker is the last lifeline.
No, I'm sad. I don't want to actually really eliminate the Grubba Dub CG. I'm really sad that we had to fight against each other.
That's okay.
I was kind of hoping I would get to fight Ben, you got to fight Roddy, but it didn't work out like that with the way the game's played out on Pig's team, and right now Bjorn definitely on his way to looking good. Like you say, there is a chance at the Lurkers, right? You got this the burrow upgrade, so maybe you can get them in position quickly or something and just try and make Bjorn play, you know, badly against it, essentially. As they're going to try and hold on this right-hand side. Widow Mine shot going off. A couple extra Banes trying to roll through. Not quite doing too much. Meanwhile, Rattata has a drop in his main base, and there's still the army on the left side as well, and he's starting to just straight up run out of Banelings on this right side attack.
Yeah, he needs to just utilize the Lurkers as much as possible, but only one Lurker over here is not really, you know, it's not meant to cut it. Nope. So the siege from 2 locations plus a drop, it's just so difficult for someone who's depending on literally pure Lurker to defend. This is how you're going to kill someone who's obviously depending on Lurkers. You only throw the game if you take one angle